let's just look at it this way. It's all about accountability. Accountability, people. The federal government being accountable to we the people. We are government. And yet I often think that all other people think, oh, government's in DC. No, it's not. It's we the people. We are government. And this hearing to abolish the debt limit completely flies in the face of every family, of every business. Think about this. Every family's got a debt ceiling. There's only so much that we can spend. We have a credit card debt limit. Our banks say, hey, this is all that we can loan you out. Right? Every day, our businesses and our families deal with a debt limit. And yet we think we're above that. We think that we don't need this debt limit anymore because it doesn't make a difference. Oh, it makes a difference to our families and it makes a difference to our businesses. I just think this is absolutely shameful. I really do. You know, we have $30 trillion in debt. We spent $7.5 trillion with agencies that we can't spend fast enough. We have 7.5% inflation, highest in 40 years. And yet today in the budget committee, we're addressing this little thing, this one single law that forces Congress to acknowledge the damage that we're doing to runaway spending. I don't understand it. This is so wrong. Mr. Mulvaney, the Federal Reserve has shifted from inflation being transitory to an expectation that they will increase interest rates in the coming months. The rate increases might go as high as 4% before this is all done. If the Federal Reserve continues to increase interest rates, how does that affect the interest on our national debt? And could this put us in a debt spiral?
Yeah, in fact, thanks for the question, because we used to talk about this when I was on the committee, was that you end up in a circumstance, was the Federal Reserve during the Obama administration actually sort of encouraging us to borrow more money? I heard President Obama make the argument, when interest rates are so low, we should be borrowing more money. That's when you should borrow it. Of course, that applies in a world where we actually have to pay back debt, which we never do. But did the Federal Reserve sort of make it easier for us to borrow money because there was no consequences to our actions? Yes, they certainly did. And if interest rates do go up, then you're going to start to see those consequences. Again, I come back to this idea that you would think that everybody could agree that there's better things to spend money on than interest. But if the 4%, by the way, Mr. Feenstra, that doesn't bother me. I'm old enough. I'm older than I look. I mean, I remember when interest rates were, on mortgages were 14, 16, 18%. You get that on $30 trillion worth of debt, and you've got a real problem. In fact, you have to ask yourself, would the Federal Reserve actually have the nerve, the will to raise interest rates much past 4% if they needed to, recognizing the impact that has on the Treasury?
That's exactly right. And I'm glad you pointed that out, because when we have the debt ceiling, these are the things that come out. These are decisions that we have to make. The Congressional Budget Office projects by 2031 that as much as 15 to 18% of our money will go to interest rates. By 2051, close to 50% of our money coming in, our revenue coming in, will go to strictly interest. And then we talk about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid that's looking to go bankrupt. But no, we don't want to talk about that because it's inconvenient, because it hurts. You know what? I think this is the most important topic that we should be talking about today, of what does our future look like? And yet we want to bury it in the sand, and we don't want to go down this path of holding each other accountable. You know what? Our families do, our businesses do. I think our government needs to also. Thank you, and I yield back.